Hello, and welcome back to Wrestling is Her. I'm your host, Raja.
And I'm John.
And we've got a jam-packed show for you guys this week.
She pulled the nay.
I did. From the Motor City Mayhem to the excitement beginning to take shape at Wembley Stadium.
There's some excitement there.
And, of course, we have all of the latest news and reviews from the exceptional World of Stardom 5-star Grand Prix tournament, including a mutually agreed upon 5-star performance turned in just a couple of days ago.
Yes, that's a big deal for us.
Yes, and we will get there, but we have some stuff to talk about first because Stardom is in its time right now, so it takes up a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
So it needs to wait its turn.
Yes.
While we talk about some other news and notes from the world of women's wrestling, and boy howdy,
yes.
Is this the summer of women's wrestling?
It's girl howdy.
Girl howdy.
Yes.
Is this not the summer of women's wrestling?
I think this is absolutely the summer of women's wrestling because
it's insane.
It's everywhere, and it's got not just women's wrestling, but women with incredible talent everywhere.
Yeah.
Just emerging and taking main events and, starting riots when they're not included on cards.
I mean, it's a big deal.
It is.
Women's wrestling is, talk about the women's revolution. I think we're seeing the next step right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When you see indie cards that have enough talent to actually have women's, events, that's
right, yeah.
pretty badass.
Speaking of which, a little bit of news coming out of the indie scene this week. One, Izzy Moreno, or as most of you might know her, Bayley's biggest fan from NXT. Right,
yes.
She has turned 16 and she's making her pro wrestling debut on August 12th.
Well, don't let Swerve and AR Fox know about it.
They're really upset about Nick Wayne.
Yeah, that was but no, this is really cool, right? This is like a great story. It's one of those feel-good things.
Yeah.
And they had the picture release where she's wearing basically the Bayley gear.
Yes, she looks so cute.
Yeah, man. I mean, she's definitely a hugger.
Yes, and that's going to be at Mission Pro Wrestling.
Hopefully. So what do you think the chances are? What's the over-under that Bayley's in attendance?
I'd say it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
I mean, you just pop over to the Mission Pro show.
Well, I mean, she's such, Bayley's such a fan of the sport.
Yeah, she is. She was that little girl.
Oh, yeah.
When she was little.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was. And I think that she's such a fan of the sport that I could totally see, probably a few of the girls maybe being there for support.
At least show up backstage and give her a hug or something, good luck,
Right. And for those of you who think that's oh my God, she's just 16. I mean, that's veteran age in Japan.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Kind of washed up.
Another cool thing that was announced on the indie scene is Wrestling Revolver put a little teaser out there for a show they're doing in October. On October 8th in Dayton, Ohio, they're doing the Revolver Women's Grand Prix.
Yes.
And I guess they're jumping on that ship that's sailing right now. That whole Grand Prix.
Or that shit that's selling. Either way.
But they announced that Renee Paquette is going to be a special ambassador for the show.
Well, you know who else is going to be special ambassadors? Us.
Yes, we are going to do everything in our power to be at that show.
Meaning we're going to be at the show.
Yes. You will see us at the Revolver Women's
You're going
Grand
to see
Prix.
us at that show, and you know what we're going to be sporting?
What?
A Wrestling is Her shirt.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we need 2 styles.
We need to show off our brand.
Absolutely.
Show where we come from.
Exactly.
Let them know that we're supporting women's wrestling.
So whether you can make it in attendance and give us some high fives, or if you watch it on
Fight Plus
or whatever it's going to be on, and go, oh my God, that's them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really? But it's good stuff, man. We're really excited about that. We love to support. If you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
Yes, and we love a good indie show.
Absolutely. For some reason.
This is the furthest thing from an indie show you can get, but I think we need to talk about SummerSlam.
Okay.
There were some big things happen in the women's division at SummerSlam.
There was.
Starting off with the MMA rules match between Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey.
Yes, the thing that we really put over on the last episode.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We gave it a whole hurrah.
Yeah, we gave it a lot.
Yes, and they didn't really reciprocate.
No.
But
well, I mean, look, it's a hard match to put on.
It is.
Number one, the MMA rules is always a difficult match because it's
just not as showy.
When I first started wrestling, my punches were a problem.
Right.
And I've done a lot of fighting in my life.
Yes.
So I had a problem making the over-exaggerated punch.
Right.
Where people, up in the top row can see what you're doing and all that stuff.
Yes.
My punches were short, precise, and
sort of jab-like.
Pretty much, yeah. And so it was a really hard thing. And I wouldn't listen at first until I watched it back on tape.
And you were like, oh, that looks terrible.
Right. So I seen things that looked like, in my mind, they were really cool, some of the submissions and whatnot, but it wasn't cool to a crowd. Right.
Like to the people sitting in the back row, it was like, oh, they're not moving at all.
Yeah. So just for pro wrestling, especially in a crowd of 5,412,000 or whatever they said they had, it's hard to pull off one of those because it's just, they're looking for something more. They're looking for some ups and downs and struggles, and
and
it's hard to tell a story.
I'd say it came across a lot better for those of us watching on television because we were right there in the action, and they did do some really cool stuff. And I mean, Shayna was wearing it afterwards.
Right.
They definitely pulled out some of their cool moves and stuff that they have from their MMA careers.
Dude, it looked like they were, sparring.
Yes, it did. Like they were in a practice camp just going at it. And though the finish was the right choice, it felt very anticlimactic. Like it just ended with no pomp and circumstance.
And there's a lot we don't know.
Yes.
I'll defend them on this. As we've talked about before, when you're going out on a show, if it was running long,
right,
which is a good chance it was running long considering the show was over 4 hours, not counting the pregame.
Right.
So if it's running long, they could have cut them from, 12 to 10 or from 10 to 8 or, what have you. So you don't really know what's going into it emotion wise, what's going into it, all around. And other than that, it just didn't live up to it. I mean, it really
not to
didn't.
That amazing story that they were telling.
No.
It didn't feel like the end of a big story like that.
I feel like that match would have been fantastic in like somewhere like an indie.
Right. Yeah. It would have been really cool with all those like cozy fans all take them to PWG where they used to sit in the crowd.
Right. I mean, somewhere they could pop an eyebrow or something.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
But it just didn't translate.
It didn't.
I don't think that there was a lot of heart in it.
It didn't seem like it. And that makes a lot of sense with Rhonda saying that she has no reason really to stay in WWE now that she's fought Shayna.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure that's not an angle.
It could be.
I feel like it's a Mania angle.
I don't know how much it's going to be considering the crowd chanted, "Thank you, Shayna."
Well, I mean, that's not the first time that's happened. And listen, if there's ever been somebody that brought it on themselves, you go out and you just, crap all over the sport and you crap all over everything that people love.
Yeah, they're going to be a little angry at you.
So, whatever she does, good
for her for her sticking around as much as she did.
Hope you have fun.
So the other big women's match on this card was the Triple Threat Championship match between Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
Which was interesting.
So the match itself was a bit clunky.
It was. It seemed like they were all living in different worlds and on different times.
It's a good way to put it.
And they were all trying to do their own things on their own time, and it just didn't mesh very well.
No.
There was an entire point when Charlotte's gear just failed completely.
Yes.
And that took away from the match, of course.
It did. But it was, it was a good way of putting it. They were definitely in a multiverse that was not interceding in a blockbuster.
Yes.
So it was just not a good match.
It wasn't. And you had the whole injury angle with Bianca, and it kind of telegraphed the finish. Oh, yeah. I think. Because, of course, Bianca came back from her injury and got the belt. She won the belt.
Well, yeah, we were watching it, and I was like, work.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she grabbed the right knee. Now she's holding her left knee.
Yeah, I mean, that was your beauty that caught that. That was...
Oh,
You're like, hold on a second.
Wait just a minute.
She had the right knee, and now she's got the what kind of tomfoolery shenanigans is going on around here?
Oh, man. I mean, you had mist and everything, and it just, none of it seemed to come together very well.
No. There was no come together.
But after the match, we did get a really cool moment because the injured Bianca Belair was still in the ring when Io Sky and Bayley came running down with that briefcase and just knocked everyone out with it.
We all felt it.
And then cashed in to become, Io Sky became the new WWE Women's Champion.
She was on a queen's quest.
And it's so amazing because I just think back to her singles match against Bianca Belair and how much the crowd got behind her and wanted her to win that match.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me so happy to know that she's finally made it to that point.
Oh, yeah. And it was awesome to see the amount of love that she gave the fans, that she gave over just achieving, right?
Right.
That the people of Stardom, you know, all the girls that knew her put stuff out. And
she was
Rossi
on the front.
put something out.
She was on the front of a Japanese newspaper.
Yeah, like the main Tokyo newspaper.
Yeah.
It was like on the front page.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for her. She had, you know, I seen something on IG where it's like, I can't sleep, and you know,
she deserves it completely. And I'm super excited to see what she's gonna do with this championship run. I hope it's a substantial one.
Yeah, I hope it has some big defenses in it.
And it feels like it's very timely with the rumors swirling around that one Kyrie might be making her way back to WWE.
And with Kyrie's video, right? First we get the news report.
Right.
We get the sheets saying that she's coming in and, you know, God knows when it could be, blah, blah, blah. It could be November. It could be this. Then we hear other things that, maybe might see her later in a week, you know.
Right.
Who knows? All we know is there are rumors out there, and she did put out this big, it wasn't a press conference, just a video that she did on her own. And basically she cited losing the championship as being a reason that she was taking some time, but you will see her again and all this good stuff. It was a goodbye. Yes,
it seemed very much like a goodbye. And I kind of think back to when they brought the Good Brothers back in, but still allowed Carl Anderson to like go back to New Japan and work that match with Tama Tonga. And it makes me wonder if they're not going to like just bring her back sooner and let her fulfill her dates still that she has in Japan.
That's always been the way. Yeah. Now, they've done that going way back to Ted DiBiase, like the $1 Million Man the first time. Boy, that's throwing one out there. Even people like the 1-2-3 Kid, you know, X-Pac. When he first got signed as the Lightning Kid, he went back to Japan and did his stuff and came back. So they've always sort of had a good relationship in that way. So
she's not necessarily going to wait until her dates are over to bring her back in.
They'll do whatever they need to do to keep a good relationship with Stardom.
Probably. It does feel that way. Which is scary.
Very scary.
Speaking of things changing, though, there was a lot of talk around Becky Lynch not being on SummerSlam and that match being cut, and Triple H's line about how you gotta make lemonade out of lemons, you know, when life gives you lemons.
Absolutely.
And Becky took that and ran with it, with her drinking lemonade on Raw and just genuinely being silly about it.
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't know how much she cares that her match was cut from SummerSlam. I mean, it's the second biggest show of the year.
Right.
And we would have liked to see Becky Lynch in any match. But when there's not time, there's not time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of the sport.
It is.
I mean, it just happens. And I think professionals understand that.
Yeah.
You know, this stuff happens. It comes and goes. Probably the worst thing you could do is, you know, be a prick about it. I mean, it just happens.
Yeah, and it kind of builds up a little bit of tension for when she has her next big singles match.
Absolutely.
I mean, she'll be ready to go all out.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool if, you know, I wish Ronda, if we had a Ronda match, I wish it was the Becky match.
That would be so cool.
Just going back to the, you know, to the ready-made fight.
Yeah, something you know is gonna win.
And, you know, so, but anyway, that is what we got. There could have been better stuff on it.
There could have been better women's matches on SummerSlam.
It was probably the worst PLE they've had this year.
Oh, goodness.
In my opinion.
You know, they could have shortened that main event, I think.
Oh, you think?
And that make room for another match.
I think that shark has been jumped now. The only thing they could do, and even in our world, is they could have a female Samoan come in now. And,
there you go.
You know.
Just add another person to the family.
Oh, wait a second. What's this? Nia Jax is returning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they'll add her to the mix there.
I mean, she's part of the family.
I'm the travel queen.
Oh, no.
So.
Okay, so the last thing we have about WWE is, unfortunately, we have lost Sonya Deville to a knee injury.
Yes.
Apparently the first bad injury she's had in her career.
Which sucks, man. She put out a video too.
Yeah, she gave a statement talking about how it couldn't be a worse time for her to get injured because her and Chelsea Green are WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Oh, yeah. Those belts.
Those belts.
Those Madden curse belts.
It does feel that way. Even she joked.
The
she
belts
was like,
of the Bambino.
She was like, they're cursed. Just kidding, but not really.
Yeah.
Ever since Sasha and Naomi gave them up, they have not been able to keep women's tag team champions. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's been so many issues. So many issues. It's to the point where you're kind of like, hey girls, we got something good for you. You're going to win. Oh no.
Yeah, no thanks.
No.
They should just retire the belts.
I mean, they really should retire the belts, probably. I mean, there's not enough tag teams that
they don't really have a women's tag team division.
No, but it's weird. Of course, there's probably not a curse. There's totally a curse. But it's, you know.
We don't believe in such things.
Best of luck. Best of luck to a speedy recovery.
We want her to come back fighting.
Absolutely. It's nice to see her get a little something, and then, you know, it sucks to have it go out like this for anybody.
Absolutely. So moving on to some AEW. Last week on Collision, we had a TBS championship match between Chris Statlander and Mercedes Martinez that was better than it had any right of being.
We got to call a spade a spade. So we were not expecting a good match.
No, we weren't terribly excited about this matchup.
I mean, we weren't expecting a bad match, but Mercedes Martinez has not seemed to really get the style, if there is a style. I even hate to use that word, but just the pacing of the AEW.
Right.
And something has not translated, right?
Right.
This was not that. Even Stat in her title run and her return has not really felt like some of the Chris Statlander that we had before the last injury. And, you know, this was pretty much everything connecting. And sometimes there's this chemistry. You can't explain it. You know, you can't just create it because you put two people together. You think, you never know.
Right.
And this one just happened to have it. It was great. Mercedes was hard hitting and believable, and Chris was incredible. And this match really, it brought the fans into it. I mean, they really got behind it. We got behind it, and we're like, what the hell is going on?
It was Serena Deeb and Riho all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't expect it to be good, and then it happens, and you're like, what did we just watch?
Yeah, no. And congratulations to both of them. I think it was universally, you know, praised, and people saw how good it was.
Maybe it's the difference in shows. Maybe they're just not Dynamite wrestlers. Maybe they're more Collision style wrestlers.
Well, I mean, you never know. It could be the vibe.
It could be.
You know, it could be the coach.
It could be. Yeah. I mean, it could be any number of things, but whatever happened for these two to get in the ring together and put this together like this, it was magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after the fact, we had, of course, Chris won. She kept the TBS title, but Diamante came out to help Mercedes Martinez, which was crazy, but I love them together.
And it made us happy that we watched Ring of Honor.
Yes, absolutely, because that kind of ties into it with the championship match between Athena and Diamante, which was so good.
Yeah, it really was.
And then after the fact, Athena showed her respect. She didn't hit her with the belt. She didn't do anything like that. And then in a promo, she told her, you have what it takes. You have everything, except you're just missing that one thing. I don't know what it is, but you better go find it.
Right.
And I guess Diamante decided to find it on Collision.
I love it. I love that it crossed over.
It did.
And you know, you get rewarded for watching the other shows.
Yeah, because if you didn't watch Ring of Honor, you'd be like, why is Diamante here?
Right. I mean, but where we did watch it and we actually discussed it. We're like, oh, I wonder, if that's going to lead to something. And then here she is, taking her spot, right?
Yeah.
Just grabbing the brass ring and all that.
Yeah, because that's a champion right there.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Gonna throw your hat in the ring.
Absolutely. Coming out there instantly on top of a great match. Also, she couldn't have called that. So it could have been her coming out at the end of a dud, which it would never have been remembered.
Yeah.
Everything had to line up the right way.
Exactly, yeah. And Mercedes and Diamante make such great sense as a team.
Totally makes
because of their fighting styles and everything.
Yeah.
And of course, Willow came out to help.
Yes.
Willow Nightingale. And that has led us into a tag team match for this week's collision between Chris and Willow and Mercedes and Diamante, which, if last week was anything to go by, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah, we're totally looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. And especially now, it's probably going to be getting a little bit more prominence than it would have.
Because of that match.
Because they proved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to see it. And speaking of Ring of Honor, I just want to mention one thing they're doing on there, which I found interesting, is they have Maria Kanellis coming out during matches, the First Lady of Wrestling.
Of course.
Scouting young talent, Layla Hirsch is pretty established.
Right.
But she was out there looking at her and looking at Cole Carter, and it seems like Maria has some designs in Ring of Honor.
I think they've got the Kingdom on their own.
They do. Unfortunately, they didn't seem to bring Maria up with them.
But it's a good thing because, she can really spread her wings and start a cool stable.
Yeah, because she was a big deal in Ring of Honor before the reboot.
Absolutely. That's great for her, and it's honestly give whoever she's with the rub.
Yeah.
So, it's good. If you don't watch Ring of Honor, you should really spend the money and do it.
It's worth it.
It is worth it.
The matches every week are so good, and they have so many women's matches. Like this week, they're going to have Billy Starks on. Athena's going to have another match, of course, because she's Athena.
Yeah, and if you miss Dark, the cool thing is you're getting the indie talent like you would get on Dark, except you're getting competitive, awesome matches.
Oh, so good.
And so it's basically like Dark on steroids.
It is, yeah.
And there's been some incredible wrestling on there. It's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah, they've got this whole storyline going on with Tony Khan and Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn. They're like the board of directors, and they show up every so often to cause trouble. Yeah,
so it's worth your time.
It is, absolutely. So we just got done watching a couple of hours ago Dynamite.
Yes.
For this week.
We did.
And we have discovered the first women's match for Wembley.
Dum, 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 dum,
All
dum.
in. So they are returning the long-standing tradition of contesting the AEW Women's World Championship in a 4-way match.
Yes.
At All In. And Toni Storm has exercised her rematch clause to be the first entrant into that 4-way match.
Right.
So she didn't have to do anything to get into this match. Otherwise, they're having a bit of a tournament, which is more like qualifying matches. It's not really a tournament. There's not multiple rounds.
No, it's qualifying matches.
But the first was on tonight's Dynamite. It was the championship match between Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay.
Yes.
Which was the main event. Second week in a row, women are main eventing Dynamite. And I'm not sure it was the best choice this week.
Yeah.
To have this match on top. I love Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay.
Yeah.
But they didn't meld together quite as well as like BCC versus the Lucha Brothers.
Right.
If that had been the main event.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a big deal because it was deciding who would go to Wembley. So they kind of held out that anticipation till the end of the show.
I think it is. But it's one of those things where it gets you used to the fact of the women being the main event. And one thing I did notice about it was the crowd was more ready to be into it.
After last week.
Because we've already established, okay, well, the women were the main event. Mm-hmm. This is a big deal. It's kind of carrying over. And the fans were ready to be all over it. They were forgiving of some stuff. And, again, God knows, the nerves.
Yes, of course, Anna Jay was emotional because of the whole Jericho Appreciation Society thing. Right. It's a very hard beginning to the night for her.
Yeah. So, hats off. It was a weird ending. There was a weird finish to it.
It was not. It was just like kind of quick and
yeah. I'm not sure that it came off right. Like
right.
at the end, I think that kind of is what you're left with for the match.
Yeah, you kind of get this sort of feeling.
It's how you leave them, pal.
Yeah, but Hikaru Shida's still the champion.
Yes.
And she's going to be in that match with Toni Storm, which leaves 2 spots.
She deserves it.
She does, because she never got that big crowd. Now she's in front of the biggest crowd.
So what other ones do we have going?
So on Rampage, there will be Saraya versus Sky Blue.
Right.
And, I mean, we're pulling for Saraya all the way to get that Wembley appearance, right?
Yeah.
And then on next week's Dynamite, they are doing a returning Bunny versus Britt Baker.
Right.
To see who will get that final spot.
So more than likely, the match will be Britt Baker versus Saraya versus Toni Storm versus
Hikaru Shida. Yeah. Yes. That's what I would do, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a match. And you've got enough in there to, with Saraya, right?
Right.
I think it's better to be a 4-way.
Yeah,
and
it gives you a little extra room for things to happen.
She can kind of get some spots in, and you can really work around things, and I dig it. I
like it a lot too. Yeah, and of course we have had some really amazing 4-way women's matches in the past. Thinking specifically of when Britt Baker screwed Jamie Hayter over by pulling her out of the ring off of Toni Storm, which was just magnificent match.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what these 4 women are going to do
and
at Wembley.
I'm hoping that Jamie comes out.
Yeah, I hope she's there at least, because it's Wembley.
Yeah.
You got to at least make a showing.
She's got to come out. So I hope, that we get some other cool matches.
I can't wait to see what they do with the TBS title. I can't wait to see what other just special women's matches they decide to throw together.
0 Hour, man, to put the Ring of Honor title.
Oh, Athena has to be there. Yeah. With all the work she's been putting in, I can't imagine her not being there.
I think it will.
So, that brings us to Stardom, which is the bulk of the show recently because of the 5-Star Grand Prix.
Yes, and my God.
The past week has been just crazy match after crazy match. We had 3 shows.
Yes.
Over the weekend, and then one just yesterday on the 8th. So we have a lot to cover, and we're going to run through these house shows. And I just want to say, if you're the kind of person that doesn't really like house shows because there's no commentary and it just feels empty or whatever, I just have to point out that Stardom is like wrestling ASMR. The ring sounds are so nice when they're moving around. It makes me so happy just to sit and listen to them work because of the way the ring sounds. And I know that sounds silly, but it makes me happy every single time.
It doesn't sound silly to me. Hearing a ring makes me very...
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good on Stardom.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. Especially,
you're not missing anything.
It's one of my favorite things, whether it was me doing it or whether it was me there at ringside or whether it was me as a fan. Mm-hmm. I love being live. And when you hear it, when you feel it, when the boards are crackling and they're going and it's a great feeling. It's a great sound.
So we had a lot of catching up to do recently because they've been putting these out in one day.
Yes.
And we're glad they did because otherwise we wouldn't have the 8/8 show to talk about, which was the best of the 3. So
it was pay-per-view level.
It was. It really was. It was insane.
It was freaking pay-per-view level.
All right. So we're going to start with August 5th in Komatsu, Ishikawa at the Suhiro Gymnasium.
Yes.
In front of 502 fans who were hot in the bad way.
Yes.
When you start the show and you see them all with the hand fans going,
oh yeah,
you know it's going to be a struggle.
Oh yeah, they were dying.
So the undercard matches, real quick. Saya Iida defeated Hanako with the Dragon Sleeper in 6 minutes and 49 seconds. And I just want to say, Hanako has a big boot that will just knock your entire head off.
Oh,
Poor
yeah.
Saya.
Absolutely.
But Saya Iida with a win, yes. Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Rina defeated Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, and Hina with the Pink Devil in 9 minutes and 44 seconds.
It was a good match.
It was. Shiri Amisori and Saki Kashima defeated Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Hanan with the Ground Suzaku in 9 minutes and 52 seconds.
Which is fun as hell.
It is. This was the best undercard match of this card.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, you got Shiri and Mayu in there, and just Saki playing her silly character.
It was a lot of fun, man. The Stars matches are always fun.
Yes, they are. They have fun. And then the last undercard match was May Sarah and Megan Bain defeating Julia and Tekla, and Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa with the F5 in 13 minutes and 9 seconds.
And May is worth the price of admission. May with Megan Bain.
Oh, they're such a silly, wonderful team.
Yeah, it is. And I love May. Listen, my God, if somebody is not growing on me, I mean, just everything about her is money.
Every time she comes out, he's like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, she just cheers me up just right off the bat.
She's sunshine.
And she's a freaking killer.
Yeah, she looks like sunshine. And then she gets in there.
Yeah, and she's a killer. She really is.
Her writing, "Please don't throw me" on her wrist tape in English was just hilarious.
Good stuff, man.
So the tournament matches for this night started when Mirai defeated Azumi with the jumping lariat in 9 minutes and 55 seconds.
So I thought that Mirai might not win this. I mean, I thought we might be,
bit of a track record.
Yeah, I thought we might be seeing something here. Azumi did a hell of a job, and several times, it kind of looked like she might be able to do a comeback, but
yeah, it got really close a couple of times.
Yeah, it really did. But Mirai, damn, she was on a mission.
And this started with like grappling. It was crazy. Yeah. They just went back and forth. But honestly, this match is worth a watch.
Yeah, and Azumi, man, she's good no matter what.
She is.
She's so good.
Yeah, but they pulled out some really cool moves in this match. There was like a lot of innovative stuff that we'd never seen before. Oh, yeah. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, they were really doing it. I mean, that was a hell of a match. You need to go out of your way to see that one.
Next, we had Suzu Suzuki defeating SLK with the German suplex hold in 12 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah, another great match. And honestly, I didn't know which way it was going to go. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect it to go that way.
Me either. I was totally expecting Starlight Kid to pull this out. She's one of the few left that has 0 points right now.
Yeah.
Which is just surprising to me, but it's not unheard of.
No, it's not unheard of. And I really think she's going to be the one that does some pretty shocking things.
I think so too. Speaking of that final night of block action.
Not even the final night and the next night.
Oh, yes. The big show night.
Well, the big show night.
But there was a moment after this match where Suzu did a callback to their 5-star match from last year, talking about Divine Punishment and how it's over because I guess she continues to defeat Starlight Kids. SLK has like these feuds with people where she just cannot get over with them. Yeah.
I mean, it's, again, that would be something you would normally think on a normal trope that Starlight Kid would have won.
Right.
Because of that. But God's punishment or divine punishment continues.
Yes, it does. Suzu deals it out, I tell you what. And then in the main event for this night, Saori Anu and Micah went to a time limit draw.
Yes, they did.
And my goodness. These two beat the crap out of each other, okay?
It was nuts.
It was.
I mean, it was... Saori Anu is an interesting girl.
She is.
She is. It almost seems like she gained some weird, sick pleasure from an incredible beating.
Yes. She seems to enjoy the chair shots now.
She's got, what I love about her. Her facial work is just so amazing and so telling. It's kind of like in that Tam kind of way.
Yes, those cosmic angels have like all the facials,
aren't they? I mean, seriously, right?
They do.
You can even look at Poi. Like, they're so good, and their knockout face is one of my favorites. Like, honest to God, there's times that Tam and Poi look like car wreck victims.
Yeah, you're like, wow, are they dead?
Yeah,
it looks like it.
They would be good extras on one of those shows, well, there was this poor Japanese girl, we just found her, but no, it was a hell of a match, and you're going to hear us say that a lot with these tournament matches.
Oh man!
But this one, I don't know. Does it the ending you thought was it the winner you expected on this one?
I mean, there was no winner. This is the second time Saori Anu's gone to a draw with Donna Del Mondo, which is interesting in and of itself.
Right.
I don't know if she's kind of gaining some respect.
But did you expect that?
No.
Yeah.
I expected Micah to pull it out.
Right.
Honestly.
Me too.
I mean, she's got the size and the power advantage.
So I expected Micah to win it at the last second, right?
Right.
And I kept expecting this to happen.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy crap. Like, what's going on here? Especially because it really looks like Sarano is going to be like a tough out no matter what.
Yeah, she's racking up those points, even in like small doses with the draws.
If she don't win, she's going to be a tough out.
Absolutely. You have to absolutely decimate her.
I kind of dig that. I mean, she's not going to give it to you easy.
Yeah, and after the match, she talked about how this is their first meeting, and she was like, "You did good, Micah. We should meet again."
Right.
And of course, Micah was like, "I'm going to win the whole thing and get the belt, and I'll nominate you as my first challenger."
And you never know, man. It's not the first time that Micah said that, by the way.
No, it's not.
Micah's throwing that out, about a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
She threw out, when I win this whole thing. So.
Yes, she is growing from that like second position in Donna Del Mondo to a real like leader position almost.
Right.
It's hard to see her sticking in that position for much longer.
No, and I will say this though. As far as the tournament matches so far though, she hasn't really done anything to stand out yet.
Not yet. I mean, she beat Hanan, which
well, I mean like
Hanan.
The emotional make you stand. Like when we watch these, we watch these with so much emotion.
Yeah.
We watch these with eyes glued. We're not doing other things.
Yeah, there are times when I cover my eyes.
We're paying close attention. I'm saying in that, with her being one of our favorites, there's been nothing yet that has been like, oh, hey, did you remember what she did?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that performance, that one performance
and there
where
have been some.
Yeah.
Surprising ones.
With Micah, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that performance where it's just like, okay, that's amazing.
Okay, you could win.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Hasn't got quite there yet.
No.
So, on August 6th, the next night, in Hamamatsu at Axe City Hamamatsu, in front of 728 fans who were hot in the good way.
Yes.
Absolutely on top of it from the moment the bell rang. Our undercard matches started with Julia and Tekla defeating Momo Watanabe and Rina with Bianca in 7 minutes and 10 seconds.
What an opener.
Yeah.
Poor Rina.
You got Julia and Momo in there, like, that somebody's getting hurt.
Oh, yeah, man.
Julia did not pull the punches, though, for Rina. I mean, she's one of the youngest members of the roster.
They're at the end, that series. If you go back and watch this, guys, just watch... Pay attention to the finish. It's pretty intense.
Next, we had Mayu Iwatani, Koguma, and Saya Ida defeating Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, and Hina with the diving body press in 8 minutes and 59 seconds.
This one was fun. Not as good as the night before.
No, the Stars girls always come out looking to have fun.
Yeah.
But you got to have a good dance partner.
Yeah, you do.
And Queen's Quest is more on the serious side of things. Next, we had Megan Bain and Mariah May defeating Natsupoi and Yuna Mizumori with the F5 in 10 minutes and 6 seconds.
More fun.
Yes.
And, it's, again, May kind of makes that.
Well, Megan Bain and Mariah May are a team.
Yeah.
I never thought I needed.
Right.
But they were hilarious. I mean, they had a few missteps, like when Mariah kicked Megan in the head over the ropes. So they do have a few kinks to work out. It seems like Megan is just sort of trying out as many teams as possible.
As many teams as she can, as many partners as she can.
Yes. They still got the win here because it's Megan Bain.
Right.
Natsupoi and Yuna tried their best.
Yeah.
And then we had Mei Sira, Maika, and Suzu Suzuki defeating Saki Kashima, Mirai, and Ami Sori with the Rolling Star in 9 minutes and 57 seconds.
Another weird little team thing with them.
Mei Sira's Rolling Star scares me every time I see it because she flips somebody completely over. It's almost an Alabama slam on the floor.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's terrifying when it's happening because it's so fast. You almost don't know what's happening till it's over.
Yeah.
And I understand why it's a finish.
No, I totally agree. It's an amazing move.
Yes, and I love May and Maika and Suzu together because they just make sense for some reason. Even though Maika and Suzu are completely different than Mei Sira on the surface, it just makes sense.
It's got the right kind of tension.
It does. And of course, Maika and Suzu Suzuki still have that whole feud going on.
And that's the one that she called out and said, when this is over.
Yeah, and they want to meet in the finals.
Yeah. Suzu better.
Maybe.
Well, we'll see.
So then we had our tournament matches, starting with Mina Shirakawa defeating Hanan with the figure 4 in 10 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow.
Mina and Hanan had their work put out for them, you know.
Yeah.
They tried their best.
they did. It seemed like it never got that chemistry in this one. The chemistry we talk about, right?
Yeah.
The chemistry didn't seem to be there. Mm-hmm. And it also seemed to be all over Shirakawa's face.
Yeah, Mina seemed really frustrated.
Yes.
And I don't know that it was all Hanan's fault, really.
Right.
I think they just had issues early on, and they kind of let it cascade into the rest of the match. It wasn't a bad match by any means, but they never really hit that mark that you expect at this point from Stardom matches, especially singles matches.
Absolutely.
But Mina pulled out the win,
Yes.
and Hanan is still 0.
Right.
Poor girl. We then went to Azumi defeating Saoriano with the Azumi Sushi in 8 minutes and 18 seconds.
And this was amazing. This was good.
Oh my goodness. Azumi is so fast.
Yes.
You almost can't catch her to put her in any kind of moves.
It's like her mind works at a different speed.
It does.
You know?
She's just constantly calculating.
Like she's in the Speed Force.
She probably is.
Yeah. And it's just like you can see that she's thinking 10 steps ahead and it's so smooth. It's just so smooth, man.
Yeah, and I think Saoriano was surprised that Azumi got one over on her. She was doing so well up to this point. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, but I think it's what needed to happen. Honestly.
I agree. Yeah, Azumi getting that win and getting some points and defeating someone who, like you said earlier, is such a hard out, like Saoriano.
Yeah,
it was really impressive,
and it was totally a flash.
It was. It was only 8 minutes, and it went by so fast.
I mean, it was like one of those finishes that just out of nowhere. I love it. It's a good match.
The Azumi Sushi is a great finish.
Yeah, slip over.
And then we had Natsuko Tora defeating Shiri with the Swanton Bomb in 12 minutes and 59 seconds.
This was unexpected.
Yes, it was. And of course, both of these ladies are hard hitters.
Yes.
And they brought it to each other in this match.
They did. We even had just spit of water instead of mist. Yeah. So
Natsuko Tora tried. She tried everything. And I guess it worked.
I mean, look, man, her stuff's looked really good. All tournament long so far.
It has.
And, you know, so it's a cool win, I guess, you know, but it was unexpected. But it also didn't seem like Shiri was the same one we see later.
Right. That flip hadn't been switched yet.
No. I think the flip is on now.
Maybe losing this match is what made her so determined.
Yeah. The flip hasn't been switched is your new shirt. I liked it reversed like that. That's funny. Goodness.
Surprisingly, Natsuko Tora is actually in the lead right now with 6 points because she's already gotten her complimentary 2 points from Sayaka Mitani not being in the tournament anymore. So she's currently sitting pretty at the very top of the tournament. We're still early, though.
Oh, very early.
And then in the main event, Tam Nakano defeated Hazuki with the Violet Screwdriver in 12 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah. Solid match. Love Tam.
Oh, man.
And she is looking good.
And she seemed to love what she saw out of Hazuki in this match.
I thought that too.
Even if she killed her with that Violet Screwdriver, which sounds like a delicious cocktail.
It does. It does. It's but no, I agree. There was some strangeness there. Mm-hmm. A little bit of love and appreciation afterwards.
Yes.
So it was cool.
Tam's another one that's very expressive.
Yes.
And she definitely showed some love to Hazuki after this match, some admiration, and she also asked the crowd if she looked cute or ugly. Of course, they all said cute.
Of course they did.
Because she's Tam. Yes. She always looks cute.
Oh, yeah.
Even when she's sweating.
Kawaii.
So that brings us to August 8th.
Yes.
Which just happened.
Yes.
Still fresh. In Kyoto at the Kyoto KBS Hall in front of 403 fans. And this venue is so beautiful.
Love it.
With that giant stained glass window just behind the ring the whole time.
It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite place to go, just because it's so memorable. It's cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. We started off with Mirai Amisori and Saki Kashima defeating Hanako, Lady C, and Hina with the Scorpion Deathlock in 10 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yes.
So they took their time.
They did.
Of course, Saki was in there some of that time trying to run away. So
yeah, that Scorpion, man, I didn't know that was going to... I didn't know if I was going to do it or not, but she
walked it back out and got it done.
Twice.
Then we had Tam Nakano and Yuna Mizumori defeating Rina Natsukatora and Saya Ida and Momo Kogo with the Dodon Tam in 7 minutes and 56 seconds.
Good match.
Tam and Yuna are funny. It's like Natsupoi is kind of taking Yuna under her wing, but when Tam has to bring her out, it's almost like she's like, okay, come on. We'll just do this and get it over with.
Yeah, it does feel that way. I agree.
But there were some funny moments in this match. It was just good fun all around. And of course, Tam kind of gave Momo Kogo like the good job pal thing, and Momo's been sort of around like challenging Julia for the New Japan Strong title and stuff. Like, she's trying.
Is Tam recruiting? I mean,
she might be. I mean, because Cosmic Angels could always use new members.
Because it looks that way.
Maybe. Maybe.
It don't. You know, it looks that way.
If you're gonna recruit, Stars is the faction to do it from. Because I mean, Stars is just Stars.
Right. Everybody leaves Stars eventually.
Eventually, except for Mayu.
Right.
And then we had Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, the O2 line, defeating Mina Shirakawa and Waka Tsukiyama with the diving foot stomp in 9 minutes and 24 seconds. That diving foot stomp is hellacious.
It is. It is.
Azumi used it, like, she puts all of her weight into that.
God, it was a good match, though.
And after the match, she had this cute little moment with Miyu, like, talking about how she's from Kyoto and so's Hanako, so they should have a match. And Miyu wants her and Azumi to go and win the New Blood Tag Team Championships. So I love them as a tag team.
I do, too.
They're super cute.
I do, too.
And then we had Megan Bain, Mei Sarah, and Tekla defeating Hanan, Hazuki, and Koguma in 9 minutes and 3 seconds with the F5.
Yeah, of course, yes. Brock Lesnar, 2002.
Yes, she does the shoulders in the corner and all.
She's something.
She is, and she actually, she threw May again.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
I think that's May's new life.
Yes, she's just Serpentico now.
She is.
So then we got into our tournament matches, starting with Momo Watanabe defeating Maika with the Peach Sunrise in 10 minutes and 2 seconds.
That one, I thought that one was over. It was a really good match, solid, a lot of hard hits, obviously.
Right.
She tried, to get the bat.
She did.
And
Maika ended up.
Maika took the bat and hit Momo across the face, and
she wailed her with it, man.
Yeah. So I thought it was going to be it, but no, man, it was good. Watanabe looked great.
Yeah, she did a number on Maika's wrapped arm because, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Why not? And she pulled out the win because of it. I mean, Momo's on fire so far in this tournament.
She is. She's looking really good, man.
And then, oh goodness, we had Julia defeating Mariah May with the Glorious Driver in 12 minutes and 4 seconds.
So if you keep up with social media, Mariah May was looking forward to the Julia match so much. And I can't say enough good things about this match. This match on any other night would have been match of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. After we watched it, we're like, well, that could have been the main event.
Exactly. On any other night, match of the night.
Yes.
Not this night. We'll get to that in a minute. But it was so much passion in this match. And Mariah May, if you've watched any Mariah May and you were a hater or you didn't believe,
right?
This is one of those times because you're in there with the ace.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
She, being Julia, just owns her opponents, and she goes in there, and a lot of times you can tell if you get that Julia rub or not. And when this was over, because of the hard hitting, I mean, Mariah May gave exactly what she got.
She did. Like, there was no backing down from Julia at all. Like, she gave back the strikes. She got all her moves in there. Her sling blade is beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And she even got that outside the ring powerbomb that she's been doing in every match on Julia, which is impressive.
No, it was all impressive. It looked great. There was nothing in this match that didn't come off great.
Yeah, no. I think one of the best decisions that Stardom has made this year is putting Mariah May in this tournament because she's proving that she's main event material already. It's insane how good these matches have been.
Yeah, she's really, the thing I like about it is I love when somebody has a comedy character and they turn that off because, okay, you know, all these preliminaries are done. It's time for a real match.
Right, yeah.
And so
she doesn't do the woos.
Yeah, she doesn't do the woo. She doesn't do any of the leg kicks. She doesn't do any of the crazy, wacky stuff. She doesn't
announce herself.
No, none of that stuff. She's very serious. She takes it serious. She's very respectful.
Yes.
It's awesome. This match is great. I wanted Julia to win. I did. I love Mariah May, but this had the right finish, the right stuff. Julia afterwards showed love. She went and checked on her. They shook hands, they hugged, and they
raised their
bowed.
arms, you know? They did all the things, and Mariah sold how hard those slaps were.
Yeah, I think this is going to go a long way for Mariah May. I
think so, too. Like, she, out of all the matches she's had so far, there hasn't been a single one that's had anything wrong.
I honestly give this a solid 4 stars.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just because of what we saw afterwards.
Yeah, we never really had I don't know. I never felt Julia was in peril.
Right, yeah. There was never that moment where you're like gripping your chest like, oh my God.
But just from a pure work and hard work, I would give it 4 stars.
Yeah. Julia even tweeted afterwards that when she got in the ring with her, the atmosphere changed. Like, I guess she felt something there.
That's awesome.
Which is beautiful, I think.
That is.
So, the next match.
Jesus Lord.
It was a time limit draw between Shuri and Natsupoi.
Jesus Christ.
And holy crikey. These two, I think, attempted to kill each other in the ring.
My God.
And of course they have a history, so that plays into it. Because they were both in Donna Del Mondo together.
Yeah, but you have the killer, the queen, killer queen.
Yes.
You have her. Wrestling is Shuri.
Shit, it is.
And she is so amazing. She is the big sister. She is, as far as what a woman wrestler can be.
Yes.
And she is a badass. And she also carries herself with grace. And she carries herself with kindness. She carries herself with, the motherly thing because she does have the punishment side to her.
Yes.
And we love her.
She is mom.
We also love Natsupoi.
Yes.
We love her try. We love the beatings she can take like a damn zombie, like a real zombie. People kind of say, oh, I've got that zombie character. You don't have the zombie character. Let me tell you who has the zombie character. The person who doesn't say they have the zombie character because Poi is zombie.
Yes.
And
she has such tenacity.
You can beat her with a truck and she's going to come back up and just be like, bye.
That's basically what happened in this match.
This match was violent. This match was go out of your way to see level.
Good Lord.
If you don't have Stardom World, get Stardom World because you got a lot to catch up on. And get it and watch this match first.
Yes, this match is worth the whole $8 by itself.
Get this match and show it to other friends.
My goodness.
This is not going to let you down. It's 15 minutes of the hardest hitting action you're going to see.
Yes.
I don't care what you're watching. You can watch a Bryan Danielson match, whatever. You're not going to see anything harder hitting than this.
No.
This match was perfect. It was beautiful. It was poetry. It was near falls. It was
heart-stopping.
It was heart-stopping. It was probably life-altering damaging.
Yeah. Poi definitely came out of it with a black eye.
Mostly all with between the ropes.
Yes.
No gimmicks needed.
No. Nothing fancy. I mean, it was just straight up
what
wrestling.
We love. It was an athletic contest.
Shuri came into this match with that serious look on her face immediately, which I have to imagine has to do with the respect she has for Natsupoi.
Absolutely.
Because she was that big sister. Like, she was that mentor for Natsupoi, and Natsupoi wanted to prove herself that she is the strongest, even though she's small, like she said last time.
Yeah, I mean, she wants to prove herself. She constantly wants to prove herself in these matches that she has, like the series of Tam. It was all about proving herself.
Yes, we talked about this last time. Stop making Natsupoi try to prove herself because it always ends up this way.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though. I've seen a lot of matches. And this match, for me, in the confines that it's in, It's a 5-star match.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing else you could give this match. It was perfection.
If what we're grading on is a per match within the rules they have, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got this 15-minute time limit. We're in a tournament. We've got we've got the obstacles we have.
Yeah.
In that confines.
Right.
5 stars. But if I'm just grading this son of a bitch against all other matches under any circumstances, I'm still giving this 5 stars.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was go from the start and it didn't stop. And there were so many near falls, and Natsupoi got so close to pulling it out at the end. And just that bell hit, and there's no more going after that.
Raja and I don't listen or read anybody else's opinion before we give ours.
No.
It could come out tomorrow that everybody hated it. You know what I mean? It wouldn't, but we don't change it either.
No.
It's based on the emotion and how it made us feel.
Yeah. There were a few times I had my hand over my mouth and over my eyes. Like, this match it gives you that emotional roller coaster feeling.
Watch it.
Please watch it. You need to see this match. If you love women's wrestling, this is the pinnacle of women's wrestling. And it even gives you all the feels after it's over. Like Raja was talking about, the chatter afterwards. Yes, and of course, Natsupoi decided she was going to stop calling Shiri-chan and just call her Shiri because she's not her big sister anymore.
Right.
They're on a level playing field, and she's going to prove one day that she is the strongest, and she's going to beat Shiri.
She said, wait for me.
Yes, wait for me.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the main event. Not unfortunately, because it was still a good match, but it's hard to move on from that.
Oh, yeah. You could have put a Sherman tank versus a dinosaur. And I wouldn't have had much for it after that.
It was a complete adrenaline dump.
I feel that those 2 matches should have been switched in position.
Yeah, but of course, it's understandable that this was on top because it featured Mayu Iwatani.
Yes.
And she defeated Suzu Suzuki with the 2-stage Dragon Suplex in 12 minutes and 51 seconds.
And the finish was great.
It was.
It really built up to the finish, but it was just a different kind of match.
Yes. Mayu took a lot of punishment in this match.
She did. And it was a different kind of match. It was not the same kind of match. And that's good that you got these variants. Mm-hmm. But after you see what we've seen in the semi, it's really hard to grade it properly.
Right. It's harder to focus on the little things when you're still reeling from an amazing match.
Is Iwatani, but you talk about needing the right partner. Suzu didn't seem as much of a threat to me in this as she does normally.
Right. She was definitely fighting from underneath because, I mean, this is like a Super Bowl because you're trying to beat the Stardom icon. I mean,
I feel like you could see that on her face.
Yeah, she seemed a little bit intimidated.
It was almost like, you know how they laid it in so much on the match before? Mm-hmm. They always lay it in, but it was like she didn't lay it in quite like she wants to kill her.
Right, yeah. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But, of course, Mayu, she sort of, I guess she decided enough was enough.
Oh, my God. This finish is with all we're saying about this, the finish of this is worth it.
It was. Because, I mean, Suzu laid a beating on her for most of this match.
She did.
But when Mayu was done, she called for the finish. Then she picked Suzu up, and Suzu tried escaping.
Yeah.
And Mayu said no, and suplexed her.
Yeah.
Just muscled her over.
Her voice was not the Mayu voice. It was like, like, no, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it was.
And then it was
scary.
Yeah, it was a whole sentence.
And then that suplex, and she pinned her.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, that was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for the match.
Yeah, I'm going to dance a little now and smile.
And not make any sense.
I didn't just lose my shit. It was really cool.
She told her, she said, you can't beat the icon yet.
Yeah. Oh, she rubbed it in her face. Yeah.
Susie was like, you don't make any sense.
Yeah. She's like, icon, icon, icon. Yeah.
Yes. Mayu's a riot.
Very, very great card. I mean, this was a house show, so to speak, but it was a house show with the tournament matches, and my God, they were good.
Oh, God. They were immaculate.
So what we got coming up?
So coming up, between now and when we record next time,
Yes.
there are a couple of shows that have tournament matches. We'll be seeing Mayu Iwatani versus Natsupoi, Suzu Suzuki versus Natsuko Tora on the 10th, and Ami Sourei will get 2 points that night because she was supposed to face Saya, my bad, not Saki. And then on the 12th, we have Utami Hayashishita versus Saori Anu, Julia versus Mina Shirakawa, and Azumi versus Hanan.
Damn. That's a good one.
Yes. I'm going to skip the 13th just for a second because it only has one and we're about to talk about it. And then on the 15th, we have a lot of matches. It's like 5 matches. Tam Nakano versus Mayu Iwatani, Shiri versus Hazuki, Utami Hayashishita versus Azumi, Saori Anu versus Momo Watanabe, and Mina Shirakawa versus Mariah May. And Natsupoi gets her complimentary 2 points on that night as well. So looking forward to all of those.
Yeah, some really good stuff coming up.
Yes. And speaking of that, this weekend we have a very big show, Stardom X Stardom 2023.
Live.
Yes, live. I love the live shows because it just feels different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
of course.
it's awesome. We always, even if we get it 2 days later on Stardom World, we always pile the live show.
All right, so this show is starting off with a 10-team Osaka Gauntlet tag match.
Right.
Which they start a lot of their big shows off with gauntlet matches. And the 10 teams in this match are Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira, Hazuki and Saya Ida, Momo Watanabe and Rina, Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, Yuna Mizumori and Hanazono Momoka, Waka Tsukiyama and Billy Candes, which is like a golden version of Fukigen Death, Hanan and Hina, Maika and Tekla, Shiri and Hanako, and Mirai and Ami Sourei. So a lot of good tag teams in there. It's kind of crazy to think we're having a big show and there's people like Shiri in the gauntlet match, but you can't fit everyone.
Well, as far as the teams in that one, I can't pick one. I got 2.
Okay. Who are
you picking?
I'm really rooting for Azumi and Miyu, like O2 line to pull it out.
Yeah, so me too. I agree with you there, but also Suzu and Mesera. I got.
They're such a good team.
They are.
This will be a lot of fun, a great way to kick off the card. You get to see a lot of your favorites. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Then we have the 5-Star Grand Prix match that's on the card, which is Natsuko Tora versus Starlight Kid.
Oedo Tai.
A little Oedo Tai versus Oedo Tai. And it's Natsuko Tora brought this up recently at one of the shows.
She talked some crap, actually.
She did. She's like, so you think you can defeat your leader? You know? She did the whole thing. And I personally think she might be able to.
I think it happens.
I feel like it's time.
I do too.
And Natsuko Tora could use a loss.
So I think it happens. I think it happens and it gets interesting myself.
You think it gets a little chippy?
I think it gets interesting. And so especially with the other match we know that she's got coming up, she being SLK and the match being Utani.
The match.
Yeah. So we both think that she's going to go over this year. Yes. And I think that she beats Natsuko Tora here.
That would be a great start to like winning points in the tournament for her.
Absolutely.
We have a high-speed championship match between the champion, Saki Kashima, and the challenger, Koguma.
Just because of other things happening, I have Koguma winning this.
Really?
Yeah. I know that you've got protection over there for...
Right. I don't think God's Eye will do anything to help Saki.
No.
But I do have Saki winning this. I just feel like with her recent change and the story going on that it makes sense for her to keep it. And Mei Seira pinned her recently at a house show, and I would love to see that championship match. I'd also really love to see Koguma versus Mei Seira in a championship match.
Yeah, I would like to see Koguma and Mei Seira just from watching them mix it up in tags.
Yeah. They've been crazy.
It's more being selfish. The smart money is on what you said.
Right. But sometimes you got to pick from your heart.
Yeah. So I think Koguma's got this.
Next, we have the Goddess of Stardom championship match between Rose Gold, Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May, and Saori Anu and Natsupoi.
So on this one, I for sure have the titles changing.
Yeah, me too.
I think that Rose Gold is going to lose. I think that Sarayanu and Natsupoi definitely are going to win this, if nothing more than the awkwardness.
Yeah, it feels like it's trending that way, and I feel like it would be funny for Sarayanu to like be stuck with Natsupoi in that way for a while.
I mean, they're supposed to be okay now after the the match they had, so
they are. I also think it would be interesting to see Mina and Mariah lose the belts right before they face off. In the 5-star. Like,
absolutely.
Maybe that match is on the back of their mind that they're going to have to face it.
There's miscommunication.
Maybe.
And it gets weird.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
So next we have the NJPW Strong Women's Championship match between Julia and Yu.
Yeah. Going to be an interesting match. Obviously, Yu's got the size advantage, got the strength advantage. I'm not sure that she's going to have the violence advantage, though.
The X factor.
So I don't see you winning this.
Me either.
But
I think Julia keeps it.
It's a cool little match.
It is, yeah. I think it's unusual for Julia to go up against someone that's bigger than her and like more powerful, maybe. But I don't think that's going to take anything away from what Julia brings to the table.
Nah, it's going to be great. And she doesn't have to see her the next day, so she can beat the crap out of her.
Yes, and I do think Julia's going to keep that belt because I still think she's going to bring it to NJPW Impact to face Donna Purrazzo.
Right.
So next is the IWGP Women's Championship match between Mayu Iwatani and Utami Hayashishita.
This one is something. It's hard to really pick because...
It is, because the story has been so interesting so far.
It really is. I mean, in a way, you got to have Hayashishita win it because of the story.
Right.
In the other way, I don't see Mayu Iwatani losing it yet.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's not time for Mayu to lose the belt.
Yeah.
It feels like she has a lot more like big championship matches.
I've got Mayu winning. I really do.
I picked Utami just because it's Utami Hayashishita.
Sometimes you have to go with your heart.
Yes, sometimes you have to pick from your heart.
Yeah.
And I love Utami, and I would love for her to have this belt. I don't know if she's going to do it because it feels like Mayu's running on all cylinders right now.
Yeah.
But I think she'll give it her best at the very least. And then we have a World of Stardom Championship match between Tam Nakano and Megan Bayne.
So, match-wise, not excited.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, but I'm excited about the fact of what can happen with Tam actually being the first one to give her a little bit of a run.
Right. Megan Bayne has proven to be an immovable object.
Right.
You just have to wonder if Tam Nakano is an irresistible enough force to move her.
Nice. I think that Megan wins.
Really?
Shocker, right?
Taking the World of Stardom belt off Tam in the middle of the 5-star.
Yeah. I think that it's ridiculous to do it, but I think it's a shocker that you have Megan as like in some kind of interim champ.
Yeah, I mean, she would make an interesting World of Stardom champion.
Right.
I picked Tam because I feel like, especially now with the loss of Saki, I feel like Tam's sort of carrying this burden on herself.
No, I got you. It's just weird to bring somebody in.
It is.
Build them up.
Immediately give
put them over
a title
everybody
shot.
And then make them lose.
It is weird. But she's been winning all these multi-man matches, and maybe this will show how strong Tam is.
It's interesting to see what happens.
I don't know how she's going to do it, okay? I have no idea how Tam's going to win this match.
Kicks.
She'll find a way.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's just weird. It's a weird matchup.
It is weird. And at the end of the day, I mean, we still have the rest of the 5-star going on because we're just in the early stages.
Yes.
We're very early, and there's a lot of people up there at 4 and 5. Tora's at 6.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of chipping out to do.
Yeah, I mean, Julia's already got 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tam and Maya with 4 each. You got Poi with 5 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really crazy, honestly. Right now, I think it's anybody's game.
It is still, yeah. You have no idea which way it's going to go. So we're excited to see more of these tournament matches.
I mean, it's such a treat.
It is. I'm
mean,
excited to watch it every time it comes out.
Oh my God. Everything's so good right now. Like you said, like you started the show off. Everything's really on fire right now.
It is.
And we're going to find out more by the time we record again about Wembley, I'm sure. Like,
Probably.
we're going to know a little bit more. There's going to be more rumors and all that. And everything's taking shape right now for a heck of a end to 2023.
Yes.
So very
the
excited.
End of August even.
And there's things are trending for us to have some exciting things coming your way from us.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to join us on socials, Raja, what do they do?
They just go to @WrestlingIsHer or Facebook.com/WrestlingIsHer. And I want to thank all of you for all of the love that you've shown us on Facebook recently. We have gotten a lot of new fans on our page, and it's really nice and exciting, and we love to see it.
Absolutely. And we've got some content finally that is going to be coming your way. We've been trying to build it up a little bit. So again, please share the show. Appreciate the ones of you that have and the ones of you that have listened so far to every show.
Yes.
We are doing the grassroots thing, but we're going to be starting some really interesting and cool content for the Patreon.
Ooh.
Said the word.
Put it out there.
The Patreon is starting.
Yes.
And we're going to go over all that this coming week. The next show that you have from us will have us explaining what's going to be on the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be timely. We're always going to try to have our Patreon content at least tie in some form or fashion.
Yes.
And we'll explain it all then, and we'll be ready to explain to you everything about what we're going to be doing and the extra content that's coming. And then, as always, please let us know what you want.
Yes, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, and we will take it all into consideration and do what we want anyway. So, I'm Raja.
And I'm John.
We'll see you next time on Wrestling Is Her. Bye.
Bye.